Hi guys, welcome back to the podcast. Today we are joined by Delaney Nelson, maybe better known to most of you as the hybrid twin mama on Instagram. She's a hybrid athlete, a competitor, and a mom of twins, proving that strength doesn't disappear after motherhood. If anything, it multiplies. We are super excited to talk racing, resilience, training around chaos, and sometimes just surviving. So let's get into it. Thanks for joining us today, Delaney.
Oh my gosh, thank you guys for having me. I'm excited to chat.
Oh, I know. We're really excited. This is a different angle, I think. And I don't think we've actually spoken to anyone that's got twins. So there we go. Maybe you could kind of give us a little backstory, I guess, on how you kind of created the hybrid twin mama account, like, and
Yeah.
what it all means to you.
Oh God, this is such a loaded question, but yeah, okay, so we're just gonna go back briefly and just stop me at any point and tell me to make it shorter and concise. But so we got pregnant with twins in COVID. I mean, craziness here in the US overall. I mean, everywhere, but particularly in the US. And they were a huge shock to us. We don't have twins in our family. They were natural. Like, I joke, I'm like, thank God my husband was because at that point, the like significant others could only be in like one or two appointments. And I was like, thank God he was there to see that it was actually twins because he wouldn't have believed me until I was physically birthing them. And so, yeah, it was just a huge shock. Obviously, they're the best, biggest blessing. I have like a banner over here. We're celebrating their 5th birthday tomorrow. So like just the fact that it's been 5 years now is just, I have no concept of time whatsoever. But I was, like I think I was in this like denial, and moms probably resonate with this too. It's like you have your kids and you're like, okay, everything's going to be great, and we're just going to go down the same corporate path, and we're going to do all the same things that we did. And whether it's 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever that number looks like with children, you quickly realize that nothing's more important than these little nuggets that are looking at you. And how the heck are you going to keep your normal life on track with now these 1 or 2 babies that you're trying to take care of every single day? And so I was working a crazy corporate job. It was COVID. We were living in the Midwest. And I remember looking at my husband and being like, what are we doing? Like, what is going on? Have we slept? Like, have we eaten? Like, what is the plan here? So I'm from California, the West Coast originally, and I just needed my family. And we made that decision once the boys were 8 months old to move back to California and be closer to family. And so I feel like that move was kind of the first step in trying to figure out what my postpartum life was going to look like. And we moved back. I changed careers. I was like, I'm just gonna work harder and try to see if I can go into like a bigger corporate job, and maybe that'll just solve everything. And clearly that was not the right choice by any means. And I snapped, and the boys were 2 years old. I wasn't moving my body at all. I swam in college. I've been an athlete my entire life. So I was a swimmer, and after the boys, I just stopped. I blacked out is what I like to tell everyone. And I remember, it's so cliche, but going into 2023, I said, I'm going to make a New Year's resolution just to move my body again. Whatever that looks like, I don't really know, but we're just going to start with walks in the stroller around the block, and we're going to see how that goes. And clearly that morphed into this. Then it was like, oh, I'm just going to do some Peloton classes, and then I'm going to train for a half marathon. And now here we are, how many years later, and coaching and training in Hyrox. And I make that sound like such an easy transition when I summarize it that way. It was the hardest, craziest thing I've ever done in my life. But yeah, that's kind of how my journey started. And I kind of felt like, okay, well, if I'm struggling with this, other people have to be struggling with this. And what if I kind of just start sharing my story on social media? And if that affects one person, great. If it resonates with 500, great. Like, let's just see where it goes. And I've been really fortunate enough to be able to reach a lot of people and connect with a lot of amazing women and moms, and just kind of fall in love again with being an athlete and figuring out how to navigate that journey between motherhood and athleticism. So that's the shortest / longest intro you've probably ever had, but like, I'm so sorry.
was really good at like concisely kind of summing it up in I mean, an incredible journey. And like you say, I'm sure there was many ups and downs on the way. And it wasn't all smooth sailing. But how, like, I guess if we've got a lot of people listening, maybe that do want to kind of make that step. So you said you sort of snapped and then you were like, right, no, I'm gonna try and move my body. Like, how did you make that step, or could you give any advice for someone that has maybe just had a baby and it all feels so overwhelming, whether that's one or two babies? I mean,
and I think too, no, I know. But I think too, it's even, I've talked about this before, like it's even more than just a kid, you know, like it could be anything, right? You could be getting married, you could be starting a new job, you could be moving across the country, like these huge life moments. Yes, it's so easy to say like, okay, you have a little baby and that's like crazy, but these huge life moments, everyone wants to know, how do you instantly like flip a switch, or what's the magic secret sauce and how do you do that? And there's just not, you know, it's just, you make the decision day after day. Like, sure, you have that little nugget that starts, but you make the decision day after day to just take care of yourself. Again, that could be any phase of your life that you're in. And I think there's some, I'm going to butcher this, but it takes, you know, like 89 days or whatever it is to make a habit. And it sounds, again, so cliche when you say that out loud, but it is really true. It's like you just start doing these little things day after day and it becomes this habit, and before you even know it, like I don't even know what I would do if I didn't work out. You know, it doesn't become a need or a must or a have to. It's just like, yeah, this is what I do. This is part of my routine, just like you get up and make a cup of coffee in the morning. And so I think that just these little steps from like, okay, I'm going to just walk today and that's going to be the goal. And we're going to get outside and enjoy the sunshine. And I'm going to like actually thinking about getting some protein in my diet instead of just like the leftover mac and cheese, and trying to think through those little buckets. Has been very helpful and is still very helpful to me. I don't just wake up every day and feel motivated to be able to take on life, right? None of us do. And so I think it's easy to chunk it out that way rather than like this huge, crazy big goal that we're all trying to constantly run after.
Yeah. And you talked about being a swimmer, an ex like very high
swimmer
level. So yeah, and I've read, like I've seen a bit on your Instagram, you're talking about now the fact you do land training, which you never really thought you'd be like a runner. But just going back to what you said about building like consistency, I guess, in movement, did that help that you were an athlete previously? Did it kind of spark something in you?
Yeah, absolutely. I started swimming competitively when I was 5. And then we were a swim family. My brother swam. My mom was involved with the swim team. And so it was just very much like that was ingrained in our growing up. And I think everything in that perspective in that life is just even how to prioritize time. And, you know, we're crazy. Like you're staring at a black line from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. and then you're going to school and then you're going and you're hitting weight training and then you're swimming again later in the evening. And it's like, again, I don't know why we do that. That's so much overtraining that we never needed. But, you know, I think just learning the time management skill and having that like competitive edge and being able to have something in me still that was dormant, but it was still always there. I still have not gone into the pool yet. My coach is like, we're going to do that this year. But I don't know. Like, I think, again, just having that base and being able to tap into that competitive edge and the team aspect again, absolutely. If I didn't have that, I think it would have felt like starting from scratch again, which it was starting from scratch again. But just having that kind of dormant in there was definitely helpful to kind of turn it back on a bit.
That was going to be my question. Do you swim now? You've already answered.
No, I know. I was very, very lucky to be able to coach and like throughout my entire life, coach swimming and everything from like, you know, little tiny nuggets to some really fun, you know, kind of collegiate level swimmers. But every time I've gotten in here and there, but not enough to call it a workout or to say that I'm swimming again. But it's definitely on my list to pop back in. I think I'm at that phase of my life where I'm like, ready to embrace it at some point. Don't hold me to that yet, but it's on the list.
It might
What
be
did what
coming.
did you race? What was your
Yeah,
what was your
I was a butterflyer and a mid-distance freestyler, so like 200 free.
Oh man, mental.
Yeah,
God. And
yeah,
do you feel it's just because there's a big like crossover with a lot of elite athletes in Hyrox saying they were
yeah.
swimmers? Do you think it helps you? Like, what's your thoughts on just everyone that seems to be a swimmer seems to be pretty good at Hyrox when they start to train for Hyrox?
Yeah, I kind of love it. I think it's just we're all in the same like mental craziness of like just the grindy kind of, endurance base and knowing that it's just we're gonna have to sit and grind for a little bit rather than like, maybe someone that was a track star that could just like go bust out, a quick little 5K. It's like when we swam, like I said, you're doing 2-hour blocks at a time and staring at a black line. And I think that's not any different than, sitting doing some zone 2 work on a concept 2 bike every once in a while. And so I think that mentally is a big piece of it. But it's also just, I think anyone that comes in with an athletic background, just from a true like training and coaching standpoint, you already have that base created. And as an athlete, it's hard. You think that you've lost it over the years or you had a baby and things change or whatever, but your body is quicker to remember than we think it is. And some of that muscle memory comes back faster. So I think that a lot of that contributes to some Hyrox success for some of these elite athletes too.
Yeah, no, definitely that makes sense. So you kind of touched on it there, but coming back after having your
Yeah.
twins, like, and you started small with the walks and then maybe
Yeah.
taking the stroller out and doing a bit of a run and that sort of thing. How
Yeah.
did that journey like look for you? And did you actually find it easier than maybe you originally thought it would be, or?
Yeah, that's such a great question. I think I say this to everyone, and it took me, 2 years, a solid 2 years until I even really thought about it. Like I couldn't get my brain postpartum to mentally even think about myself, let alone trying to move my body, let alone then be competitive in anything. And I think I say this too, if you would have looked at me and told me that I would be doing Hyrox, now I would have laughed in your face and then just like ran away. I mean, I can't even, it's just crazy. Again, I think a lot of people say that about Hyrox in general, but just from a postpartum standpoint, yes, it was, I wouldn't say that it was easy by any respect. The first workout that I went to was like in a garage up here with a mom group. And I was like, okay, like I'm going to start doing some like HIIT style workouts. And I went in the bathroom and puked like 15 minutes in. I just was like, all right, well, this is where we're at. And so, those moments were definitely hard, but I think then you meet the community. And I started out, like walking and doing some running. And then I did like a couple mom workouts here and there. And then I got into the F45 space, which really kind of like catapulted me into, my half marathon training and then Hyrox as a whole. But that was such a great entry level point for me to be able to say like, okay, I'm going in, I'm having a community, I have some time to myself, I can kind of turn my brain off and just do some functional movement rather than I'm just going to go all out and see if I can hold on for, an hour and 45 minutes, because that was not feasible in any way, shape, or form at that phase in my life. And so I think that those pieces were really helpful, and finding the people that got it. There was so many it's weird, we joke about it, but there were so many twin parents that were at that F45 that I started at, and that I could just come in and talk to was 95% of the battle, alongside, the moving up my body as well too. So yes, it was difficult, but I think the most difficult part was that first step and letting go of my ego and saying like, I don't feel good. I don't look like the way that I look right now. I don't have it all together mentally. There's definitely dirty dishes in the sink. I don't have laundry done today, but like, we're still going to do this and we're still just going to put ourselves forward. And I started to see, and my husband would be the first cheerleader here for this too, like, I was a way better mom. I started being way more present. I started being able to have more patience. Not that I'm like screaming at my kids on a regular basis, but like I was feeling like I was able to devote myself more because I felt better about myself. And I felt like having that, 45 minutes to an hour for myself allowed me to set up the rest of my day to be successful with my kiddos too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I can see how, I mean, a lot of people talk about just like looking after yourself first to then be able to look after everybody else. And we've had
Yeah.
a lot of mums on this podcast, and mums always the ones that want to make sure everybody else is okay and kind of forget
Yes.
themselves sometimes. So I think it's super empowering to hear you say that. And I'm sure there's a lot of mums listening that probably agree or probably might go and do exactly the same as what you've just said and give themselves at least 45 minutes a week.
Yeah.
How did you get from going to the F45 classes, like, yeah,
Yeah.
you built a community which we know is so strong now, and and a reason why Hyrox have done so well, but to then signing up to your first Hyrox and your first half marathon, what came
Yeah.
first, and how did that journey
Yeah.
take place?
I signed up for the half first because, and candidly, I found a couch to half marathon plan online. Like that was my training. And it was like some Pinterest thing. I'm so embarrassed to even say that on this right now, but I'm going to be honest. Like that's where I was like, all right, we're just going to stick to, I'm very type A. So it's like, if I have the schedule, I'm going to check the box, right? Like I'm going to go through it. And so to be able to have something like that was great for me. And so I did that, and I kept, one of my best friend's sisters had done Hyrox. And so I kept seeing, and she has she has 4 kiddos now, but she had 3 kiddos at the time. And I was like, this is so cool. Like it looks so fun. And it was still early on kind of in the Hyrox journey and for their brand as a whole. And I just kept saying like, this is a down the road goal. Like if I can get through a half marathon, if I feel confident in myself, like I'm just going to put this, kind of on the back burner. And then that my half marathon was like in October, and Anaheim was coming around on in like that December kind of January bucket. And so I did my half marathon, and I was like, I'm doing a Hyrox. Like, you're riding that race high anyway, and you're like, I'm just going to do a Hyrox, which I'm glad I did that instead of signing up for a full marathon, because I would have regretted that. But yeah, so I just booked the ticket and said, all right, we're going to try to figure this out. And I fell into like the Instagram trap of like trying to follow every random workout and run and hit zone 2 and, like all the stuff. But I did my first race. Actually, ironically, I signed up for Anaheim doubles because that was kind of my mentality. I was like, I'm gonna do Anaheim doubles, like we'll just ease into it. And then as I'm training, I kind of was like, maybe I could be good at this. Maybe I could actually like do something with this. And so I said, I'm gonna do Dallas before Anaheim and do singles and just do open and see how I feel. And so I ran Dallas and I fell in love. I mean, just like everyone does, the first time they do Hyrox, and it's the high, the community, the people, the race. And I couldn't even tell you what my time was. It was nothing to write home about, but it was like enough for me to say like, okay, I'm okay. I'm not gonna die doing this, and this is fun, and I enjoyed it. And so ran Dallas, ran doubles in Anaheim, and then signed up for Vegas and said, okay, we're gonna just like push a little bit. Did doubles and open, and that's where we qualified for Worlds in our doubles race in Vegas. And so it was that moment I felt. I was like, what do you mean we podiumed? Like, it was like that moment. You're just like, so what, so we okay, so we got first, but we qualified. Like, what is Worlds? It was like that moment of like so new in the sport. And again, it was old qualification standards where you could still qualify in an open category for Worlds back then. But it was just that moment of like, how did this happen within 6 months? And feeling like still like trying to figure out who I am as a person and as a mom and as an athlete, again, coming back into the sport, and then being like, all right, I guess we're going to do this thing. Like, let's roll with it. So that's kind of was my beginning journey, and it's snowballed from there.
It's so cool though that to have such like a boost and a high, and like to get that and feel like, oh my God, okay, yeah, like we could be good at this. Let's
Yeah.
do it and let's carry on. Like it's a nice, I guess it's a nice way for the journey to go, and to give you that confidence that like it you are able to do both, to be a mom, to be an athlete, to train, and to kind of combine everything in your life. It's
Yes.
it's cool that it worked out that way. When you first went to, was it Dallas first?
Yeah.
Did you have any kind of like, I don't know the word, like apprehension about, I guess, being like postpartum. I know
Yes.
your body changes a lot. Everyone kind of wears the shorts and the sports bras and not, was there
Yes.
any sort of apprehension in that sense? Because I feel like maybe some barriers with like mums are the change in their body and then going to the gym and we shouldn't compare, but all women do
Oh my
compare
gosh.
themselves.
Yes.
So how was that for you, if you don't mind talking about it?
Oh my gosh, yeah, please. I'm an open book. So I am very open about this. I had twins. I gained 100 pounds with the boys. Like, I am 5'4", and there's not a lot of room for like 100 pounds to go. So I had to figure out, that was a big part of the journey early on, was I was in a weight loss journey. I wasn't in a training journey. And then once I kind of felt like, I had lost the weight, that shift was very hard to go from like, I'm in a cut, to now I have to fuel my body to train like an athlete again, and trying to shift between that is still something truly I struggle with. I think a lot of us struggle with fueling in general, but to go from like, hey, I'm trying to lose this like extra 100 pounds of baby weight from these beautiful twin boys. Now I'm trying to be competitive, but I have to be able to fuel my body enough to be competitive. So yeah, of course, going into Dallas and feeling like the first time where I was not able to, but the first time, of course, I had like trained in sports bras and stuff and shorts with my friends and whatever, but like be in a huge setting like that with all of these different types of people. Twofold. One, you see, it's so cliche, Hyrox is for everybody, right, is their slogan. It's so true. I mean, every type of person, body, background is there. And so I think that the Hyrox community is so cool for that. And that's why I tell everyone, like, if you're interested in it, do a race, do a relay, do a doubles, whatever that looks like. Just pop in and do it, because I think you're going to be surprised. It's so easy for us to see the highlights on social media and see the Elite 15 and how fast everyone is running, when in reality, that's like 0.001 of the Hyrox population. And so it was so beautiful to be able to get into a room in Dallas and see every type of person. And so I think anything that was in my brain about like, oh my gosh, I have a C-section scar. Okay, like my arm's a little floppy here. Like nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody's looking at you. Like they're just like, cool, look, here's this nice girl doing a Hyrox. Like that's what people are there to cheer you on. And again, everyone that's listening to this is either probably thinking about doing a Hyrox or has done a Hyrox or is in some type of hybrid space. And I think that that's a huge piece of it, is the community. Like everyone's cheering for everyone. No one's looking at your loose skin or worried about like one little hair that's out of place. It's just, that's not how this sport is. And I think that's, again, going into Dallas, I didn't realize that. And you can't really explain that to anyone until you're in that setting. Now I don't care at all, right? Like it's no big deal, but definitely it was a big thought in the back of my brain going into a race like that, and quickly was schlepped out the minute I walked into the room, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I agree. I think like when you say to people, like, even if you don't want to race it, just go and watch one, because
yes,
I think you're right. A lot of everyone's feeds and everything, obviously, that Hyrox put forward is about mostly the elite athletes.
Yeah.
And yeah, the actual, it's kind of like watching a marathon, isn't it? You've got the elite, which is the tiny little bit at the beginning, and then you've got hours and hours of just the general public, from from good club runners to people that have only just started running, and people that are in costumes having a great time, and all ages, all sizes. And that's kind of what Hyrox is. It's just the fact people probably don't see it, and they just see this elitist part, and they think, oh, I couldn't do that. And you're like, well, you can. You just like, you really can.
And I think we fall into that trap too, of feeling like we as like seasoned Hyrox athletes need to like conform to that too. And I just keep coming back to like the fun component. Like, we don't have to do this. Like, this is not, like, Hyrox is not paying us to go do a race, right? Like, that would be really cool, but like, we are there to do this for fun and to push our limits and see where our, limits lie, and that is really cool. And so I think I got sucked in a little bit maybe after Worlds, feeling like, oh my gosh, I have to like keep this standard, and now like we have new qualification standards, and like we've got to push and we got to train and we got to do all this stuff. And now I'm at this phase where I'm like, this is so cool that I just get to do this. So we're gonna have fun with it, we're gonna enjoy it. Yeah, we're gonna have some really bad workouts, yeah, we're gonna have some really good workouts, and same with races, and we're going to figure it out as we go. And so I think, again, to that point, the 0.001% is the 0.001%. Yeah.
But you, as a mum, because in Hyrox it is full of like most of the elites and the elite females are mums.
Yeah.
It's like it's crazy, and is that quite inspiring? Like as a mum to see that,
oh my gosh,
that like push you on a bit more, or?
Just when Lauren gets up there with her daughter, it's just like, I don't know. I mean, I could feel, you can feel that for her, and you can feel how amazing that is. And again, we're talking about an actual professional athlete, right? But to be able to see the moms that are showing up for their kids. For me, I have boys. And so, from a girl mom standpoint, it's like, yeah, I'm showing you what you could do someday too, if you like put your mind to it. But for my boys, I love it because it's better, because they're like, oh, cool. This is the kind of person that like, look at mom. She's badass. Like, I want to be with someone in my life. Okay, they're 5, right? But like down the road, or I want to surround myself with people like this, right? Whether it's male or female, whatever that looks like. And so that's the piece that I get really excited about. And like last night we had family over and the boys are like doing push-ups in the kitchen, right? Like I love that they can see that and resonate that, and be like, okay, cool, mom's strong, mom has goals, and she's pushing toward them, and if mom can do that, I can do that too. So I think that's what's so cool, and I think that's what drives a lot of us. I also think what drives us is we're very short on time. So what we are doing has to be done well in the short amount of time that we have, because again, it's that prioritization of like, okay, someone's gonna need us in about 20 minutes, so how can we jam this in and make it a good session while we have the time? I am very lucky the boys are in school now, so the training is a little bit more succinct and less choppy, but when they're little, you just do what you can, where you can, and hope for the best.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I feel like you're a very organized person. Like when you said, yeah,
I try to be.
Check the boxes. I can just imagine there being like a process of do this person goes here, do the
10 push-ups a bottle, 10 push-ups a bottle.
Yeah, literally. I mean, with twins, you probably have to be as well. But what about like the mental kind of side of things? So a lot of people say that, moms have I don't know, higher
mom guilt.
No, not well, yes, but like,
yes,
but
that.
I was going on the like pain threshold, like that can kind of push harder, have been through labor, so like it's fine, or have raised like little kids and had zero sleep, so they can get through anything.
Yeah.
Do you think postpartum and before kids, you've got a different kind of?
Oh my gosh, completely. I mean, like, in college, you're like, oh my gosh, 9 hours of sleep and a nap, and like now I got to go hit this workout. Like, please, I don't even know the last time I saw 9 hours of sleep, but yes, I think that twofold, right? Like I talk about the mom guilt, and then I talk about like the different mental side of things since being a mom. I think, again, it's that like you kind of unlock this different level with becoming a mom of, again, you're doing it for a bigger reason. And yes, you're still doing it for yourself. I don't ever want to be like, oh, I'm doing this for my boys. Like, I'm doing this for me, and I'm glad that they're seeing that I am doing it for me. And if that in turn, again, gets to them to see that they can have big goals and dream too, awesome. Like, that's, of course, what I want to achieve. But yeah, unlocking that like shift of, like the pain level is different, definitely postpartum. But on the mom guilt side of things too, I want to address that, because I think that that's a big piece of just the time management, the pain threshold, and saying like, okay, I am going to go to a race for a couple days, and you're going to stay home with dad or grandma and grandpa, and having that mom guilt still is very real. I still struggle with that. Even now that they're older, and saying like, okay, I need to do this for myself. and trying to like convince myself in my brain, like, okay, they're fine. They're with grandma and grandpa, while they're like eating cake pops and ice cream and watching like every Disney movie under the sun, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, are they okay? Like, clearly they're happier than when they are with me. But like from a mom guilt perspective of trying to prioritize what I need to prioritize from a training or a career standpoint or whatever that looks like for anyone in their journey is something that is still something I have to struggle with and try to like convince myself, like, no, it's okay. They're good. They're happy. They're healthy. They don't care if you're going to be gone for a little bit. Like, you're good. So
Yeah, and it's an important topic to raise because I mean, we have heard it on the podcast before and people have said like they do feel it and it's hard to prioritize you. But I mean, I guess going back to what you said earlier is that you're a better mom for it. So
yeah.
like because do have this time that you prioritize for yourself to make you a better person, then it then affects them in a positive way. But
I think it's like taking a girls trip, right? Like now instead of taking a girls trip, I'm just going to a Hyrox. Like, so that's my break. Instead of getting massages and drinking mimosas, I'm just going to go redline for a couple hours and a couple different races. So that's how I tried to justify it. I'm like, we're supposed to take breaks. We're not robots. Like we've got to be able to prioritize whatever that looks like.
Everyone's like, why are you doing that instead of taking a spa weekend?
Need to add a spa. I need to add a little like cheeky massage.
Oh, I know.
At the end of the weekend, don't you? Just to round it all off.
That would be lovely.
So do you have like now you've obviously been in the Hyrox space for a little while. Yeah. Your boys are 5, so getting a little bit older at school. You mentioned you've got a bit more time to train. Yes. Are there kind of bigger goals creeping in? Do you set yourself targets or are you still just trying to kind of enjoy the ride and not put too much pressure on it?
Yeah, I think both. I think especially with them being in school now too and being able to say, you know, what does this next like chapter look like? And for me, that was starting to coach. My coach came to me and said, hey, you have a coach, you've coached your entire life swimming, and this is like, let's train you and do what we need to do to get you on the Hyrox hybrid level. And that was a huge, like I remember he texted me, he's going to laugh when he hears this, but he texted me and he was like, hey, do you have time to talk? And I'm like, great, he's breaking up with me. Like, I'm too slow. I'm not fast enough. Like, I need to be training harder. You know, like you're instantly going through all these things. And I was going to school, walking to pick up my kiddos. And I'm like, yeah, I'll call you in a minute. So I call him. I'm like, hey, is everything okay? And he's like, do you want to start coaching? And I was like, yes. That was the conversation. I was like, I thought you were going to break up with me. And he just started laughing at me. But I mean, and that was what it was. Like, it was just that moment. I didn't even have to think. It was like something that had been on my radar for, you know, on a plan like 5-10 years down the road. I was like, oh, this could be awesome. Like, I love the sport and I love being able to talk to people about it and encourage them to do it and discourage all the crap that's out there about like what we should be doing and shouldn't be doing. And as soon as he said that, it was a no-brainer. So that was kind of my moment going into kind of this year of like, all right, this is the next like journey. I want to be able to work with women. And again, I'm not working with elite athletes. I'm working with women that are coming in and wanting to understand the sport, that have swam in college, that have an athletic background and are coming out of postpartum and trying to figure out how to become a mom with the athlete pairing again. And that's my jam. Like, that's what I want to be able to talk to women about and help them do. And I feel really blessed to just be able to have that as this kind of next phase and to be able to train alongside of that and have my own training and own experiences aid into that coaching experience as well and what I can bring to the table for my athletes. So that's like my big goal, is just to continue to like work with these awesome women and elevate them in their capacity and train and hit a couple PRs along the way too. I think it's going to be really nice. So I'll always be racing Hyrox and popping into decas here and there, a couple halves here and there. Again, I don't think I'll ever do a full marathon. But I as you guys have did one for how many days in a row, like, good Lord. We'll have to talk separately about that at some point because I can't even imagine, but want to talk about mental toughness. But yes, I think that you'll always kind of see me bopping around and doing those types of things. But this next kind of journey, or this next chapter, I'm just excited to bring all of that into kind of under one sphere too.
Yeah, that's cool. And I'm guessing you've got like quite a good background with just like even strength and conditioning from your swimming as well.
Yeah.
Because like swimmers do a lot of like land-based strength and conditioning work. So
yes, we're not very good at it, but yes, we do it. Yes, I did. I was very lucky to be able to have like a good solid background, and then obviously go through the training needed to do what I need to do from a Hyrox and strength perspective as well, for my athletes. But yeah, it's been really fun. It's just to learn, I'm under Geiger coaching, and to learn from Ryan Geiger, who's my own coach. It's just, I said, even when I first started training with him, I was like, this is one of the smartest people I've ever met in my entire life. Just to hear about like, how much better our heart pumps blood with different types of training. I mean, the level of expertise is unmatched. So I always joke, every time I'm on a call with him, I'm just like down like this, just like scribbling on my notepad, because there's so much awesome information. So I feel very, very blessed to be able to learn from the best.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And do you said specifically you like to help like mums and like postpartum and people to get into Hyrox? Do you have any, like, right now I'm putting you on the spot, but do you have like 3 tips that you could share, that you share with most women, that you could maybe help a few people to get started?
Yes, and none of these are going to be shocking to anyone, but my number one is going to be fuel, because again, I think a lot of people coming out of postpartum are so used to like, okay, I need to lose the baby weight, and like, I want to get my body back. Like, yes, do what you need to do to feel solid, but when you start training like an athlete again, then you have to fuel to train like an athlete, or it's just never going to happen, and we're going to get injured, and it's going to be terrible, and it's the opposite of what we want. So fuel is always number one. Number 2 is just start. I think that everyone gets in their head about like, I need to be this pace, I need to know how to do this lift, I need to whatever. No, like, just start, and we're going to figure it out as we go. And I think my other like last tip too is don't compare, because we're going to do that anyway. It's just human nature. But don't get so sucked into like the social media world of I should be doing this, and I should be doing this, and this person is doing this postpartum, because again, we're only seeing probably like 0.5 seconds of a clip of someone doing what you think you should be doing, when in reality that's been years and years of training. Maybe they're 10 years postpartum, maybe, everybody's journey is so different. So the comparison piece and trying not to get sucked into all of the crap that's out there would be kind of like my next big advice. So eat and don't compare, get a coach, like, don't try to figure it all out on your own, have a community, and just believe in yourself a little bit. I know that that's easier said than done sometimes, but yeah, those are all kind of the conversations I typically have with my athletes.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think it's great advice, and just start is definitely like such an important one, because I do think you can kind of look too far ahead. Sorry, Faye, were you going to say something? Did I jump in too soon?
No.
I'm sorry. I thought you were about to like, and I was like,
I was
oh no.
intently listening to your response.
I was like, oh, I've stolen the question. And then we do have to touch on LSKD, because we obviously can't not. Can you talk to us? Recently, you are an LSKD athlete, so can you kind of touch on working with them and what you think about, I don't know, do you have like a favorite sports bra or something for mums? Because we get asked that question a lot, and me and Faye really can't like help in that area, because we don't need much support. So maybe you can give some tips there.
100%. I am personally obsessed with LSKD, like, hands down. I'm very spoiled because we are in San Diego, so their USA headquarters is here. And I think, again, candidly, like, I never wore them before coming into the Hyrox space. And, I had a couple of friends that were wearing it, and I was like, oh, this is a cool brand. And once I kind of started digging in, I obviously, like we all probably did, blacked out the first time and spent like way too much money, and was like so excited about everything that I got that I just like kept going back for more. And, they had a couple events here in San Diego. They're so amazing about their community events. And so they had a couple yoga events and like group runs here that I had popped into. And I think the second, anyone that's listening that hasn't had like an in-store experience or like an in-person experience with LSKD, I think you probably get the same like warm vibe from them on social media and with their team in general. But in person, like, you walk into that store and they're just like, they basically just hug you on the spot. They're like, hi, we're so happy you're here. Like, that is their brand, 100%. And they're all authentically that. And so they're like, who are you? What's your name? What do you do? You know, like, instantaneously, I'm like, these are my people. And so I instantly connected with just, you know, a couple of the ladies there. And anytime that there was like something that they were working on, they were just like, hey, you want to pop down and like, we'll just do a quick shoot. And that was a huge thing for me too, that I really struggled with. I'm like, you want me to go run and wear your clothes? Like, who the heck am I? Like, the fraud mentality was frauding. And I was like, all right, I remember like the night before, I was like, I couldn't sleep. I was like so nervous. And then I show up and it's just like my friend Alex and her iPhone, and we're just like shooting on the beach. And it was like the best experience I could have ever had, you know? And so it was, that was kind of how I got in with LSKD, just from a general, like, they have become my friends. And so it's just been such a nice, authentic relationship, and to be able to work with them on some fun stuff on social media, and like for them not to care. I'm not a huge content creator by any means. Like, I don't have hundreds and thousands of followers. Like, they were just like, we like you as a person and we like what you do. And so let's shoot some content. And I was like, okay. So that's kind of how we started. And then from there, just within the Hyrox space, obviously they're making big leaps and bounds, and as they should. Their product and their team is amazing. And so any opportunity that I kind of had to be able to rep them on the race floor, I took. And then it kind of organically morphed into the athlete piece of it as well. And working with Ellie, who's just like the most awesome human ever, out of the US, to connect on the athlete side of things too. So it's just been really fun. And I feel, again, the LSKD piece of it is a huge like pinch me moment. I know you guys feel the same, but I'm very, very honored to be part of their team.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it sums it up though, like literally whenever you like meet any of the team or you go to any of their events, you literally feel like they probably are giving you a hug, but like
they are, yeah.
You feel like that, and it is all very authentic, which I think is something really nice about the brand that we obviously all feel. And
bras. You asked me about bras.
Sports bras. Yeah, I was like, there was something else. There you go.
Oh gosh. I mean, I think I'm trying to think of like my absolute favorite. I mean, I love the Stamina a lot. The Accelerate is a really great one, I think, for moms. It locks you in a little bit more. And so I think that's a good solid bra. I'll have to like make you guys the clasp. Yeah. I think that's a really good one. And it has like the adjustable straps too. But honestly, I tell everyone, I'm like, if you think something's cute, just order it. And if you don't like it, return it. Like, they're the best. It's no big deal. So
yeah, that's so true. Oh no, thank you for sharing that. It's an awesome brand, and we obviously rave about it. So I'm sure everyone listening's fed up of us talking about it, but
no such thing. I'm like, what are we dropping this week, guys? Like, what's going to be new? What colors we got?
So many, isn't it? It's just like there's just a drop every week. You're like,
every week. I'm like, I can't keep up.
Good. So is there any races on the horizon? I mean, have you got a new race fit sorted for your next race? What's coming up?
Yes. I don't have my outfit yet for my next race. I probably need to start working on that. I'm racing mixed doubles in Dallas. I have been honored to be able to race with Dustin Needham, who's just a really cool guy within the hybrid community. And he's just one of those people that everyone, like, he like fits that LSKD vibe too, right? Like, everybody that sees him is just like, Dustin, you know? So it's just been really cool. I think, there's someone that said, like, he's just one of those people that just like sprinkles little fairy dust on like the people that he like likes and like wants to like just bring up in the ranks and just like picks you and he's like, hey, you want to race? So it's been really fun to be his partner. He's like the person that'll do 5 races in a weekend and just like pop them all out and hit PRs on all of them. So to be able to race with him is an honor, and mixed doubles is so fun. I mean, it's just like absolutely one of my favorite races. Maybe because I don't have to do as much work, but it's definitely a good one. But that'll be Dallas, and then I'm doing DECA Anaheim, the big race in Anaheim, the DECA Fit. That'll be actually at the convention center up here. And then from there, we'll see. I don't know. I'm eyeing New York a little bit too, just because I want to spend some time in New York. And it's like the longest Hyrox ever. It's like 2 weeks of Hyrox basically in New York. Yeah. So yeah, 2 weekend Hyrox in New York.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, so come on out, you guys.
Oh, don't
I'd love
me.
to come to New York, to be honest. Yeah, exactly. Isn't it out? It's got an outdoor lap.
Yeah.
New York. Yeah.
It's on the pier.
Yeah, but there was some like, did they have controversy over the sleds last year? Was that the one?
I think so. There's always controversy of the sleds.
Slightly more. Was it?
Yeah.
It got wet, didn't it? I think it's because it rained.
I think it got wet. Yeah.
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 I mean,
so we'll see what they do this year for that.
Yeah, it's always a good idea until it rains.
Yeah.
And then,
I will say the sleds in Phoenix, you guys, that was the coolest race. That we had so much fun there. Doing it in a football stadium like that for Hyrox, I'll be super interested to see if that's the future of the sport in general, because there was so much space. It was cool in there. The stadium had like windows basically in the top, so there's actually natural light coming in. It was just really quite lovely. For the US, I know overseas there's been some better venues where there's fresh air and such, but for the US, we're typically in like an event hall and it gets a little claustrophobic-y. So it's been that race was just phenomenal all the way around. The course was fast, the sleds were great. The Elite 15 race there was phenomenal to watch as well too. So it's just been fun to kind of see the sport morph even just within the last year too.
Yeah. And did the track feel quite empty because it was bigger?
Yeah, absolutely. It felt, there was definitely a ton of room. I will say like Anaheim was the craziest course I ever raced this past year. There was a separate entrance for wall balls that was like 3.5 laps. It was just, and at the end of a race, it's like, good Lord. So that was the craziest. So going from that to Phoenix was like heaven. There was not a ton of people on the track. I think they spread it out really well too, like how they did the schedule for the race weekend overall. And they had like awards kind of up in the stand area or like the snack area. So everything was just very spread out, which allowed the flow to just be really nice. They had the bridges, so you're not stopping traffic when people are trying to cross in the middle of the race runway. So it was really nice.
Yeah. No, it's so interesting to like kind of have watched the sport grow and how it's kind of evolved like over the races, because they do definitely try and make the improvements like each time. They're obviously planning, they've added, I don't know if it was like this in Phoenix, but a lot of the events now they've got toilets in the athlete warm-up
bit. And they did.
Yeah, like it just makes kind of the whole process a lot smoother and better.
And toilet paper. Toilets and toilet paper. It was fabulous.
Such a treat. And I don't know if we, maybe I didn't double check, but you mentioned you were doing open races to begin with.
Yeah.
Have you done a solo pro race?
I did do a solo pro race in Anaheim, and that was one of those courses again, where like you see the times, even like all the elite athletes that race there, and they're like 2 minutes slower than like any of the times that they had. So it was just, the course was really funky. It was super crowded. It was not like great. I got my stuff rocked in my pro race. Like it was definitely one of the harder things I've done in a long time, and which was great. I needed it. I needed that reminder to be like, okay, like you're good, but like you got a lot of work to do if you're gonna sit in this pro level and do pro weights. Like coming off of lunges with the pro weight, I was just like, damn, what have I signed up for? Like, what is going on? but again, like I needed that, and I needed that at this point in my season, and to know that my running is where I need it to be, but my strength is not where I need it to be. And, my coach and I knew that. And, but having the data and taking anything, I think that that's been a huge shift for me too in racing. And what I would like tell my younger self too is just like, it is so easy to get sucked into like, okay, that was a bad race, and then like just wallow in it. But now taking a bad race and just using it as data and perspective has been the biggest game changer for me, in like understanding versus like, and understanding that that's where my body's limit is at that point in time, rather than, oh, I can't do it. It's just like, this is where we're at right now. So we're going to train and we're going to get better and we're going to find what the next limit is, rather than, oh, I can't do this. And I think that obviously comes with age and time and experience too. But yeah, my pro race was rough.
I mean, you're doing all right if you said you got to the lunges. I'm like,
Yeah.
I was like, you're nearly through the race. Like, usually people get to sleds and they're like, oh, wow, hang on.
I mean, the sleds weren't great either, but lunges was where I like talked to Jesus for a couple minutes.
But I mean, it's a huge achievement. Like I guess if you stop and think where you were
Yeah,
4 or 5 years ago, and
perspective.
yeah, it's like, it's massive. I mean, me and Faye were talking the other day, but like Hyrox, it's a hard race. Like it's not, and it's designed to be difficult as well. Like leg heavy, and it's not an easy feat. But I think sometimes, you do kind of look at the social media and everyone flying around and trying to get a PB and do it faster and do this, and then you put it into perspective, and it's like it's really like it's a tough course to get yourself through. Like it's a huge achievement.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, that perspective piece is everything, right? Like, it's so easy to be in that moment and that here and now of like, oh my gosh, what the heck? But then to look back 6 months, a year, whatever that is. And I have this conversation with my athletes all the time. Like, even if we're just working on like a squat progression and it's like, oh, I couldn't hit this weight that we wanted to hit on progression 6. And it's like, okay, but we started progression 1 at this weight. And look at how far we've come over these weeks. And it's, that moment, and again, that's why we work with coaches, like to be able to take us out of our own headspace, or we surround ourselves with people that build us up, because we're our own worst enemies 9 times out of 10. So we have to do that.
Yeah, absolutely, totally agree. Well, I think maybe that's a nice place to kind of round off, unless there's anything else you want to add in or that you think we've missed out.
No, you guys are awesome. I've loved chatting with you.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, I mean, you kind of already touched on it, but I'll still go for the last question and see if you got anything to add, which is, what message or advice would you give to your younger self or the next generation of girls coming up?
Yeah, I think the biggest piece for me is it's always going to look, it may look like it's not going to work out. It may look like the plan that you have set out in front of you is not the plan that you thought that you were going to hit. Still go forward and still try, because the most beautiful thing could be on the other side of what failure is in your mind. And I think that that's basically how my journey went. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm failing in the corporate world. I'm failing as a mother to these two twin boys. What in the heck? I'm failing for myself. I'm just going to basically restart. And I look at kind of my life, from like, what am I going to do after being an athlete? What does that look like? I'm not an athlete in college anymore. Like, let's restart. This is the plan, but let's just say, screw the plan. And how do we continue to move forward? So yeah, it may not ever look like it's going to work out on paper, but sometimes the most beautiful things never look like they're going to work out on paper. And that's the fun part about it.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's such a good answer. And I think you're a huge inspiration. Like,
you're so sweet.
Kudos to you for sharing your story as well, and like putting stuff out on social media, because it can be like a harsh place as well. So I think to be so open and honest about like your ups and downs and your journey is like, really like what's a brave of you, like to share that. So thank you so much for chatting to us and agreeing to come on the podcast. Good luck at your next race and anything else that you do. And where can everyone find you if they want to follow you, see how you get on in Hyrox Deca, or have any questions that maybe we've not
Yeah, please.
asked you? They could kind of give you a DM and coaching as well.
Yeah, that'd be fabulous. I am the hybrid twin mama on Instagram. That's where I'm the most active overall. So would love to connect with anyone on there.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time because I know it's precious. So we
Oh
do
my
really
gosh, no, thank
appreciate it.
you.
And hopefully we might cross paths in real life soon.
Please.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.